In April of 1945, Nazi Germany was collapsing. Berlin was surrounded. Soviet troops were closing in streets by streets. Inside an underground bunker beneath the city, Adolf Hitler was facing the end of the regime he had built, and possibly the end of his life. The official historical record tells us that April 30th, 1945, Hitler took his own life. According to witnesses, he bit into a cyanide capsule and shot himself in the head. I mean, one of them's going to get you. His body, along with that of Eva Braun, was carried outside, dosed in gasoline, and burned. Hitler had one final fear, that his corpse would be captured, displayed, and humiliated in the way Mussolini's had been. But almost immediately, questions began surfacing, and from those questions grew one of the most enduring conspiracy theories in modern history: the idea that Hitler never died. Stephen, you brought this up a couple episodes ago, that Hitler is actually in, what is it, Argentina? Yeah.
Yes.
And you got your shield out because you really...
Absolutely. America. Hey, you know what? You got all those props. I got to have something, right?
Yeah, I got
And
Mothman.
this is
got
perfect.
Shield.
I got the perfect thing for this specific episode. But you know, the whole thing with Hitler dying, right?
Yep.
There is a lot of evidence pointing towards the fact that yes, he did die in that bunker, from the cyanide to shooting himself in the head, like the whole 9 yards. But what a lot of people don't actually know is Russia during that time period actually took the bodies. They didn't burn them. So and all the information involving the autopsy of Hitler has been with the Russians for years.
So it's one of
and
those,
no one actually knows.
It's one of those they said that, yeah, we got him right here, but it's like, we're not going to give you any photos.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I mean, because, like you said, they claimed to recover Hitler's remains, but they kept them secret. No press photos, no public confirmation, just just statements from the Soviet officials saying, trust us, we got him. Take my word, bro. Sources, trust me, bro. And because there was, when I was starting to get into conspiracies and all that, a lot of this was like, oh, Hitler was still alive. It's like, did he though? And then as you start getting older and you start looking at the way history has evolved and like the way things have gone, you're like, makes sense to me in a way. So it's always a fun, like,
speculation.
It's always a fun speculate. Okay, it's not fun. Let's say that first, because that would mean this man who caused a lot of problems is still able to live and sleep well at night. I do wish we did get to him before he offed himself. That would have been cool. That would have been nice. But this also, we're pretty much going to dive into the whole, like, he was still alive and, like, how we have maybe some proof from it and all that. But this also comes to the question of, like, most recently, I think within the past year, thanks to AI, remember the speech they did? Was that, like, actual, like, him? Or was it, like, they kind of made it up as they went and made it seem like it was him?
So there was I actually, funny enough, I had a conversation with my brother-in-law about this the other day. So shout out Ben. Also check out his fishing show. Yeah, he's got a fishing show. It's called Off the Hook. He's it's up in Wisconsin. He talks about like all kinds of like, it's called Off the Hook. It's great. The place is called Midwest Farm Report. You can listen to it on Saturdays. But yeah, we were having that conversation about the fact that, like, with Hitler having the whole concept of the amount of power that he had, and how he was just such a good speaker that the stuff that they have nowadays, like the technology that they have to translate his voice from German to English and still have those fluctuations in his voice that he would have had, it is possible. I mean,
Yeah.
there's videos and stuff like that of people who take their own voice and put it into an AI generator and makes a completely new sentence. So it wouldn't be too far fetched that there would be the ability to use AI to figure out how he would have sounded in English and what he was saying.
Yeah, because if this would have been around the time when AI started becoming a thing, before
Mm,
like when Will Smith was eating spaghetti. Now, if it was around that time, I would have said like, yeah, that's AI. But now, I don't know if you've ever used ChatGPT nowadays.
yes.
When you talk to it and it talks back to you, it breathes now. It's very unsettling. I don't like it. I don't. It's like, well, you don't need to breathe. Stop catching your breath. Yes. So, I listened to it before and I was like, this man could speak. He was a
Mm,
good speaker. There
yep.
was a reason he got to where he needed to be.
Yeah.
Um, Granted, we don't really need to go into the history of Adolf Hitler. We all know this man did not do
It
good.
didn't bode well. Yes.
Nah, nah.
He didn't do good for the world overall.
Nah. The most when I've growing up before I knew what Hitler did, it was always you always hear like the people who would do like, would you rather or like would you go back in time and kill baby Hitler?
Maybe Hitler.
Yeah. And it's this the wildest scenarios.
Paradoxical.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
I mean, you could. I don't know what it'll change, but pretty much what do you got here? Yeah. And then
It's like
this
that
is
episode of Family Guy,
yeah.
where they go back in time and they kill Hitler, and then, apparently, like, their idea was the fact that the Jews take over and
Yeah.
society is just like all Jewish. It's a
Yeah.
bunch of
No.
morts just running around.
Um here's also where some of the conspiracy started picking up a little extra because Joseph Stalin himself told Allied leaders that Hitler might have escaped. Whether this was misinformation, paranoia, or deliberate political manipulation, it poured gasoline on the fire. So, right back at it to where we got the Russian allies
Yep.
being like, hey,
He
he
might
may not
actually
be
be
here.
alive.
He may not be here. Now,
Right.
uh now there has always been, I believe, this one solid evidence that would show that he did not make it out of there,
Hmm.
which was apparently his skull fragment
Hmm.
controversy,
Hmm.
because his dental records. So
Yes.
that was like the biggest thing that made people kind of sleep at night. Granted, they could have just said all this stuff because
Hmm.
don't take the word from the government that easily. Uh,
Hmm.
the Soviet claimed they possessed a fragment of Hitler's skull. This was presented as physical proof of his death. Again, you could literally take anybody's skull and be like, "That's him.
Hmm.
There he is." But in 2009, everything changed. DNA tests revealed that the skull fragment did not belong to Hitler. What?
Shocking.
It came from a woman. This this revelation reignited speculations around the escaped theory. What often gets left out is that the skull fragment was never the strongest evidence. The real key lay elsewhere. It was pretty much Hitler's teeth, like I said.
Hmm.
Hitler had notorious poor dental health. His dental
Hmm.
work was highly distinctive. So they kind of ran it off of like back in what was it, 1945?
Hmm.
Yeah, I like we said before on this show, doctors probably weren't the greatest back then, especially dentists. Still, dentist
Yeah.
is I don't trust them.
Yeah. I mean, who was it that I think it was George Washington. I mean, obviously, this is way
Yeah.
after George Washington, but I believe George Washington. Everyone always said that he had the wooden teeth or whatever, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the realistic thing is like they used to take teeth from cadavers and
Yeah.
use them as dentures.
Yeah, I believe that's what I've
So,
heard. Yeah, there's a whole lot with his teeth, and it's like because what the biggest thing that they would tell the younger class, because this is the safest route to go, is
yep.
that they're like hippo and horse teeth, or they're like cow or
Hmm.
donkey teeth, something like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like when you get into the reality of it, you're like, oh,
Yep.
it's not cool, my guy. Maybe don't
Just
use
yanking
that.
out dead people's teeth. Yep. Well, and so the other thing that I would kind of argue with that too is like, let's be realistic here. Was DNA testing around at that time? And if it was, how advanced was it to where they could have been like, okay, yeah, here's his dental records, here's like the jawbone or a tooth or something like that. That that could have been something that they could have ran with. But the fact that they're just like, oh, here's like some baseline dental records, who knows? Maybe Hitler had a friend up in the higher like government of Soviet Union during the time and was like, I'll pay you X amount of money if you get me out of here.
I
And
could
he
see it.
ripped out a tooth or something, or
Yeah.
like gave him dental records. Whatever the case may be, I mean, there's all kinds of like options to say the least.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, coming from Russia being the team that apparently came in and got the body, allegedly,
Hmm.
it really goes to like, do you really think Russia's gonna tell America like, yeah, we got his body, it's all solid now? I don't
Yeah,
know about
right.
that one. I'm not gonna lie. After the war, it was revealed that many high-ranking Nazis escaped Europe using secret routes known as rat lines. These routes led primarily to South America, including Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay. So, right there, if other leaders got away, what's saying the man who was leading it all just went into a bunker and called it quits?
Yep.
I don't know
Well,
about it.
and let's go one step further with that too. The CIA had a tip line because there was a time period when they also did not believe the Russian government, and they were
Yeah,
like, no, 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 this has got to be like we have to verify this, whatever. So they put a tip line out there, and Hitler's the tip line for Hitler was actually a lot of people allegedly spotted Hitler in Argentina. There are reports of Hitler running around in FBI and CIA like documentation that he was still running around post the war.
yeah. And do you think? Uh, so okay, here's where I'm at to why if he was there, why we didn't hear much of it, because I bet they buried that, because how much of an L would that look on us? To where it's like, yeah, we took him out, but it's like, oh, actually, no, he was alive. I think we got him now, but so
Yeah.
it obviously did not look good on us. So I could see why if it maybe he was in Argentina, they found him eventually and then took him out there and then just still claimed we're good to go. Because the
Hmm.
CIA still rolls like that today, even worse. Like I feel like there is still people getting taken out by the CIA
Yeah.
daily.
I
So
mean, we just had that dictator that we just took out, Maduro.
yeah,
I mean,
the
they literally just rolled up to his house at like 2 o'clock in the morning and just took him and left.
and allegedly
On
used a secret weapon like the Stranger Things weapons. Did you hear about that one?
No, I didn't.
So there was a thing. There was one source from the Argentina, not Argentina. Where were they at? Was it Argentina?
The government.
Yeah, their
Uh,
government,
yeah, Venezuela.
Venezuelan soldier. Said
Yeah,
that there was only 23 American soldiers going in, and they had like a weapon that was just causing so much mayhem in like the brain and all that. It was like an invisible wave of something that
right.
was causing them to go nuts. And I'm not gonna lie, I believe it. I could see him doing that. And
Yeah.
so it's just like shit like that. Like we didn't hear about it until it was over. So what do you think we don't hear about if we're doing shit like
Right.
this? Argentina became central to the Argentina became central to the conspiracy with large German-speaking communities and sympathetic officials. Stories
Hmm.
emerged of Hitler living quietly in remote areas such as Bar- Barilloche. Balarche?
Blarche? Blar
Balarche?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you on that one, buddy.
Submarine sightings, secret compounds, and eyewitness accounts all fueled the myth, though none were ever conclusively proven. So it's one of those, take my word for it. Declassified FBI files show that tip claiming Hitler was alive continued for years after the war. These reports were investigated but never substantiated. What is that? Substantiated?
Substantiated.
Here's when the conspiracy starts to crack. By late April of 1940, Berlin was completely surrounded, airfields, and destroyed. Hitler was physically uh, deteriorating, suffering from tremors and paranoia and extreme isolation. Witnesses describe him as a man who could barely function, let alone be able to do a complex escape like he did. There is no solid evidence of a flight or a convoy or any submarine extraction from Berlin itself. Every version of the escape theory relies on speculation, assumption, and second-hand accounts. So this is where it just becomes the definition version of a conspiracy. It's all
Hmm.
take my word for it, my guy. But if I'm
Yep.
being frank with you, I mean, did we actually know what like Hitler's conditions were towards the end of the war, though? You
Right.
know, like,
Well, and even one step further with like his condition alone, let's say he was in a condition where he was getting tremors, he was suffering from some sort of personality disorder where he was like always paranoid, whatever the case may be. Who's to say that he didn't have a contingency plan for if they lost the war?
mm-hmm.
Hitler wasn't Hitler may have been an awful person, but that doesn't mean he was stupid.
No, not at all. Like, look where he got himself, and because he wasn't okay. He was in the war before.
Hmm.
He fought in the First World War, and
Hmm.
then was so upset that they lost, and then all that. But he wasn't much of a like an actual physically able to do most, I believe, because
Right.
he wanted to be an artist and all that. And
Right.
it pretty much relied on his word. He was a great speaker, and that's where he realized, like, oh, I can get people to help me and do all this
Right.
dirty stuff for me in a way.
Do his dirty work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The other crazy things too that I've seen, like, for like sightings and stuff like that, or just even some interesting evidence that I've seen is like there's an article you can look up on the website is, let's see here, hang on, World News Daily Report, but there was a man that was named Herman Guntherberg,
Gunther.
and in 2017 he had claimed that he at 128 years old he claimed that he was Hitler.
What at 128?
At 128, this man claimed that he was Hitler, and he had been living in Salta, Argentina. And let's see, he allegedly arrived in Argentina in 1945 with a forged passport and had been hiding for 70 years.
Was the forged like passport actually like proven,
The
or
source
is it one of those like, oh,
originated
trust me?
the source originated from that website, known for publishing fake news.
Oh, god
So
dang
there's
it.
yeah, there's one thing. The evidence, the articles used photographs of a 101-year-old British man named Francis Morris, who was previously in the media for being one of the oldest drivers in the UK. And then, like, again, this is the Google AI kind of
Oh
doing the
yeah,
breakdown,
exactly.
because I remember this being a thing like a while ago,
Yeah.
but many, including Gutenberg's wife, Angela Martinez, believe he did not have a past as a dictator, but rather suffered from dementia, as he had
Mm.
only began talking about Adolf Hitler when exhibiting signs of Alzheimer's.
Could you imagine you got dementia and you just like you watch a war documentary and you're like, hey, that's me. That's
Yeah,
that's
right.
me, my guy.
That was me. I did that.
um, but here's why the theories won't die. Uh, is is because the evidence is strong and it's because the stories feel incomplete. People struggle with the idea that someone reasonably, for as much evil as he was, simply ended his own life and escaped justice. There was no trial. No, I mean, there was a trial for the
Mm,
other Germans and whatnot, but nothing for
right.
him. No execution, no public reckoning, which, I mean, granted, I don't know. Hopefully the cyanide kind of kicked his ass a little bit, so maybe that's why he,
Mhm.
shot himself or something. Uh, in the Cold War, secrecy, real Nazis escaped. Uh, the Soviet claims and decades of misinformation, and you get the perfect storm. So, emotionally satisfying theories often outlive factual, real truth
Mm,
and whatnot. So, in the end, it's like people just they can't process. It's like, oh, he just shot himself. Which, in a way, I mean, I could process that. He was losing the war, and he didn't.
yep.
He knew if we got to him, it was a no go for him anymore.
Yep.
So,
I
in a
mean,
way, you could see that.
with all the deplorable stuff that was like taking place during that time period, during his reign as as a dictator, I mean, the guy was conducting experiments on twins, Jews, gays, like black people, like
Oh
you
yeah.
name it. I mean, the amount of deplorable things that this guy had been planning, and then for him just to like for people just to be like, "Oh no, like that's not a complete story." Of him taking cyanide and killing himself as they were losing the war. It's kind of like, do you think this evil man, wants to answer to his crimes?
Yeah.
Like realistically, I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't have. Like I said, we kind of went over the fact that this man probably had a contingency plan of some sort, but again, it kind of goes into the is he did he really kill himself or not? I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it just as much as you can, but I could also see the fact that Hitler was smart enough as a person to have a contingency plan to get away.
Yeah. And where I'm just basing what I'm getting out of it, the whole like cause CIA and all the secrecy and whatnot, is the
Hmm.
conspiracy with JFK and how the CIA, you know? So,
Hmm.
in a way, it bounces up and down to where it's kind of like I could believe it. If it was proven he was actually still alive, I would not be surprised. I'd be like, okay, kind of saw
Yep.
that one coming. So in a way, I wouldn't be surprised because, like you said, obviously he didn't want to face his crimes, but I personally don't think he'd go out like that if other uh like high-ranking Nazis made an escape.
Hmm.
If they made an escape, he knew where those were at to go escape at. So
Yes, exactly.
you can
And it
say
and it
all you
just
want.
comes and it just comes down to the speculation of just like realistically, like could could he have actually killed himself? Yeah, absolutely. Like could he have been trying to avoid it? Absolutely. But also, again, as we covered, like Hitler was a smart man.
Yep.
I'm not saying that he did escape, but there is a possibility that he could have.
Yeah, 100%. 100. And so yeah, so pretty much that's a short video today, but hey, it is what it is. There ain't much of it. There wasn't much to go off of besides there's like 5 big theories on like how he's alive. So it's a little short today, but that's all right. I think we nailed it down. We have enough evidence on the table to really get a say on like what we think happened. So if you guys think you know what happened, go ahead and comment down below. What do you think? Do you think he made it out? Do you think we're hiding that he made it out, or do you think he died? He just didn't make it. So
that was it.
Yep, that was the end of his story. So yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below your guys' thoughts. And yeah, I say this one was a good one.
I think so. Yeah, I like it.
All right.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet, and Hitler definitely killed himself. All right. See you guys later.